Nick here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another new episode of Freedom Friday. What's going on, you guys? I hope you guys are having an awesome Friday. It's been an awesome week. I can't complain at all. I'm sorry if I sound a little sniffly. Little allergy season, but no pollen formed against me shall prosper. Amen. I saw that on Facebook and Instagram, and I thought that was pretty cool. Based on the scripture, no weapon that is formed. So yeah. It's been one of those weeks, man. It's been awesome. It's been, I'm doing these new things, and I'm excited to, got through another week and stuff like that. So I hope you guys have been having an awesome week. So thank you so much for joining me. And as you come in, make sure you drop a like, make sure you drop a heart, say hi, say where you're coming from. And so I love getting to talk to you guys. So make sure you come in and say hi. Don't be a stranger. Don't act all sexy. For those of you joining me on Anchor, thank you so much on the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate all of you who support my content both on Facebook, YouTube, and on Anchor. I said both. But thank you all for all the love. So I want to make sure and get some good content out for you guys. So let's start the show as we always do. Today is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. So that's how we always start with the show. We always start with God first. It's so important to do that. Start your life like that. When you wake up in the morning, you start your life out like that, giving God praise and thanks for all that He's given you and all that He's allowed you to have, and even all the stuff He took away from you. Because you have to realize that, sometimes, as any good parent would know, it's not always about what you give your child, but what you prevent them from, and from hurting themselves. So, thank God for the bad stuff too. Because it's all a part of His sovereign plan. God is sovereign, amen. So, I just want to, want to let you guys know how awesome it is to have you guys here. So, without further ado, let's jump into the content. As you guys see, we're coming up with some new content for you guys. And one of the things I wanted to talk about in this show today is dreams. Now, you guys know I'm a big fan of purpose. I'm a big fan of, living out your dream, living out your calling, and walking according to God's purpose in your life. I'm a big fan of that. So I wanted to kind of get into, something that's really near and dear to my purpose and to my mission, my own mission in my own life, that God has given me, to basically, to bring to the world. One of the most important things, in life is being able to find your purpose. And, one of the things that we as humans spend the most time on is, finding out why we're here, why we're put on this earth. Why did God put us, where we are currently? So, it's one of those life questions. So, it's such an integral part of your existence. It gives you fulfillment because, one of the things I love one of the sayings I love is that, once you find what you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And, I was talking to my wife yesterday, and it really got me to thinking of a time period in my life that, I used to work for a company called work with a company called Primerica Financial Services. And one of the things that we did a lot was help people get into a better state financially and get them to financial independence. But a part of that, one of the coolest parts of the process, especially for, when we were looking for business partners and things like that, and you're doing interviews. I remember when I first got started in there in 2009. We were in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. Shout out to Tyson's and the whole team, and that was in Tyson's. One of the big parts of the interview process was the what I affectionately call the dream phase. And what you would literally do is I'll be sitting across from somebody, and I would spend probably 5-10 minutes and just talk with them about where they see themselves in 5 years, in 10 years. What is that, not just for, the generic response, but, you know, what does that look like? What does that actually feel like? What are you doing? Where you're living? What you're driving? Things like that. And the reason why we spent that amount of time doing that is because it got a strange reaction from people. And the reaction that we were looking for is a smile. Because too often we came across so many people that were just so nervous and so apprehensive, and they were thinking about things that they were more focused on, am I gonna get in, things like that. But doing that dream phase and as a part of the interview, we got them to think about their life and got them to think about where their life is headed, and got them to think about the dreams that they have, the desires that they have. And um one of the things that really kind of had my attention early on in that process was the fact that it would be such a drastic change where you would feel, someone like this, and they have their arms folded, or their posture's very closed off. If you guys, study, body language and things like that, or not even study, but if you know anything about body language, that someone sitting with their arms folded, they're usually their legs crossed, male or female, and their body postures like this. That means they're being defensive, or they're nervous, or they just have an overall defensive posture. But when I started talking in that dream phase, and I would literally write stuff down because successful people think in ink. So, when you write that stuff down and you notice them, okay, so one of the major things was people will always look at me like, oh, what is he writing on the paper? And I would literally be sorry guys, I would literally be writing what they're saying. Like if they said they wanted to have a 5-bedroom house, which by today's standards, you could say whether that's big or not, but for some people, especially for me, that's a big house. So when they say 5-bedroom house, 2-story house, Victorian house, or whatever, I would write it down literally immediately. I would write it down, and they would give me this look like, what do you wait, that's a part of the interview? Like that's how he's gonna judge me? It's like, yeah, and they didn't get it at first. But when I started talking about, okay, what does that look like? What are you driving? What area do you live in? What school do your kid are your kids going to a public school or a private school or whatever it is? What does that look like? And it really gets people to open up generally and specifically about their dreams. And here's the thing that's important about that is that you have to dream. As kids, when you're as soon as you know yourself, from I would say 3 years old on the way up, you start to dream about things. And the thing that I love about children is that they think limitless. like there's nothing that they can't do. There's nothing that they can't accomplish. And they would literally be like, I want to be a fireman when they're not big enough, they're not strong enough, they don't, they don't look like that. But to them, that does not matter because all they know is they want to become a fireman, they want to become a doctor, they want to become whatever, they want to become a principal. I wanted to become a principal when I was a kid. I was 5 years old. I just the idea of walking around and helping people learn and and grow and watching the whole process. And I looked at my principal. When I was 5, around the school, to learn. And she thought it was so cute, a little creepy, but it was mostly cute, because you have this cute 5-year-old following me. Who doesn't like that, So I was shadowing her most of the time, and she would be like, "Okay, now I gotta take you to class," and stuff like that. So, you know, she thought it was the cutest thing, and I would be asking her questions at 5. I'd be asking her like, what do you like about this, and well, I didn't say are you having fun, but you know why are you become a principal? Why did you become a principal? And she would tell me. She'd be like, whatever she said. I can't remember. It's almost 30 years ago now. So, she told me why she became a principal and, what motivated her to become a principal and things like that. And, she's explaining to a 5-year-old. So obviously she's not going into too much detail, but, from the little that she gave me, I got so excited and I just ran with it, and I wanted it. I went home, and so I said, "Mommy, I want to become a principal. I want to be able to teach people. I want to be able to help people learn, and then just a whole school of kids." And obviously, as an adult, as you can see, my passions realigned and my passions changed, but it got me to think. It got me to think about my life and about my future, and that's what that dream phase of the interview process when I was in Primerica, that's exactly what we wanted to replicate because along the way we lose that. How do we lose that? As kids, we think of everything limitlessly. We don't see any boundaries. We don't see any, any restraints and things like that. How is it that gets lost? It simply gets lost by learning, by anything you do, anything you end up, having become a part of who you are. You learn it, and you learn it from your parents, your grandparents, your aunt, your uncle, whoever. And this is the thing, especially in island culture. And I'm an island boy. I'm from Trinidad, so one of the things that I heard a lot, maybe not always by my parents, but somebody in my family, whenever, anything comes up, anything happens, that's the real world. That's the real world. That's how it happens. That's how life is. And here's the thing about that statement is that life is life. Every day you wake up, every day, you get out of bed and you start your day, that's life. But you get to choose, even in spite of God's sovereignty, in spite of his purpose for your life, everything like that. That is what it is. Life is life. What you make it is what makes the difference. And how you find that purpose, how do you find that dream, how do you find that passion that burns within you? How do you know that? First of all, you have to be open to the question of, what do I see in my future? What do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What does that actually look like? And don't be afraid to write it down. Don't be afraid to take pen to paper. Don't be afraid to make a vision board. Me and my wife, we went over to a friend's house a few weeks ago. I'd say probably about a month ago now, and we had a vision board party, and it's literally, we get a few magazines, and we cut out some pieces, and we stuck it on poster board, and at the end of it we would explain exactly what this picture represents, what this statement represents, and how does it tie into our future and what we see. And you could do something like that, a glue stick, a couple magazines, whatever you want to, and get creative with it, because like you would think of, like, most of you guys who are, you're money motivated, and you want physical, tangible stuff, that has to do with money and business and all that. You think you get business magazines, but no, get creative. Get the People magazine. Get your power companies magazine. Get magazines. Think outside the box and look for those little pieces that you could cut out and find meaning in that. And something so small, something so innocuous, something so harmless that you might not think anything of in the beginning, but you would know at the end of it, well, look, this has a bigger purpose than what the picture says. This has a bigger meaning for my life. And just by doing those little things every single day, doing those little things every so often. Because listen, man, you go out there, and I get this. Okay, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of people, you know, asking me, like, listen, what about your job? What about, what you have to do? You have bills to pay. The practical stuff. Yes, I get that. You have to pay bills, especially in the United States. Not to say you don't have to pay bills anywhere else, but in the United States, bills don't stop. Your credit gets affected, your standing gets affected, whatever. Bills come like clockwork in this country. However, if you could get to a space where your money life, your purpose, your gifting, your passions, where you could find those intersecting and aligning, that would be the perfect storm, because you would be able to satisfy that requirement of making money and providing for your family, because it's important, especially, and I understand that as a father, as a man, as a husband, you understand that you need to be on that track of being able to provide for your family. And yes, I get that, but too many times I see it, that and I've been there, where you're at a job that you detest going to. You hate waking up in the morning. You hate getting in your car to drive to work. You hate being at work with the people you work with, doing what you hate doing, what you're doing as far as work. You every single day, it's like a drag and a drudge to get through your day. You're just like, oh my goodness, when is this gonna end? And if that is where you are, if that is where you are, excuse me, if that is where you are in your mindset, if that's where your current position is mentally and emotionally, it's not a it's like a ticking time bomb, because you're gonna get to a place where you can't do it anymore, and you're burnt out, and you just can't, because it's not fulfilling. You don't find any joy in it. And here's the thing about joy and happiness are not the same thing. Joy and happiness are definitely not the same thing. Happiness is based on circumstance. Happiness is, my day is good. It's Friday. I get paid today. I'm gonna have money in my pocket. I'm gonna be able to go out and have some fun and enjoy life and things like that for at least the next 2 days. I'm happy, right? That's circumstantial. Joy, however, is lasting. Joy, however, is persisting. Joy is, it's Monday. I have to go to work because I have to. I don't necessarily like what I do, but you know what? God has a purpose. God has a plan for it, and I'm gonna be optimistic about my day, and you know, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great week, and I'm gonna go ahead and go do it. And I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability and pray God for His strength, because God, in the Word of God said, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So when you have that mindset, that belief in your heart, that feeds joy, where you can still have a smile on your face. You're not necessarily having a good day, but you can still have a smile on your face. That's what joy brings. And you find joy first in God, but then it's part of fulfillment. When you are doing something that you enjoy doing, you do something that you enjoy being a part of. You're a part of an organization, you're a part of a team, you're a part of a bigger purpose than yourself that you enjoy being a part of. And here's the thing about purpose, man, is that when you find your purpose, when you find your calling, it's not to say that you won't have days that suck, because honestly, I'm doing what I love to do. I get to be, at home, making money from home and things like that, and creating and recording and things like that, and doing different things that I enjoy doing. But there's days that suck. You know, there's days that I don't feel the best. Like, allergies are trying to beat me down, but I'm not gonna let it, because I'm doing what I love to do. You know, and as you you can tell, I love to talk. So, you know, you love doing what you love to do, and it will get you through those moments where it doesn't feel good to you, and just trusting God that to get you through those days that it's not gonna feel good. It's not gonna feel like you want to. You're not gonna have everything to say. You're not gonna have everything to present or whatever it is, but you know that it's something that you enjoy doing. That's what brings fulfillment. When you find a purpose in what you're doing, you go out there. Like, there's some people, and listen, man, I've seen janitors out there that they love. Like, that is the most, that when the first time I saw that, I saw it was I forgot what school I was at. And I was talking to this guy, real nice guy, been a janitor for 15 years. And I just asked him, like, and it's usually one of those situations, like, you could imagine, like, this guy's cleaning up the worst of the worst, and has a mop out there, and he's cleaning up and everything like that, trying to get it done as quick as possible to get back to, everybody get back to what they're doing. And I was like, man, that's kind of, it's kind of bad. It kind of sucks that you got to be cleaning up that, because it's it's like throw up, man. Like, I know I can't handle throw up. Like, for real, for real. Like, if I see someone throwing up, I'm a blow chunks too. It's just what it is. Like, I just can't. I just can't avoid it. I can't. I don't look at it. Like, been in situations where people got sick and they started throwing up, and I had to hold their hair or whatever it is. I gotta do it like this, and because I can't look at it, because I'm gonna end up throwing up too. But I was asking him. I was like, "Listen, man, it must suck that you gotta do that right now." And he was like, "It does, but this is my job. This is my passion. I love to help people. I love to help people, and helping out people. This helps out people. I like to see a clean place. I like to see a clean place." And when we were talking, he just had so much pride in what he was doing, and he went the extra mile to say, okay, hey, not just cleaning up and just leaving it like it is, but this man, when he got done this place, whatever place it was that he was doing it, it shined. It, you can see the smile on his face, And even while people were walking by, he greeted them. You know, his mind state, you can see it was more than just about, you know, cleaning up and doing what he was supposed to do, but because he did something that, you know, connected with him emotionally, he was so happy. And that was so brand new for me, because I was like, man, that's gotta suck. You know what I'm saying? Having to clean up the up and stuff like that. Some of the worst situations you could think about, you know, cleaning up is, excuse me, he had to do it. And it was just one of those things. And he was so excited. But and that's what I love to see, is that I love to see people in their purpose, in their calling, in their passion, and that you see that smile in their face. You see that brightness about their face. And that's what, listen, that's what, when I was sitting in an interview room and I got people to dream again, and you see their face light up, and you start talking about their favorite car. And me personally, I'm into cars, so I know when I get a guy, or especially a girl, like a girl comes in and she's sitting across from me and she's talking about her favorite car or whatever it is. And even worse, if it's like a super sport car or something like that, like a Lamborghini or something like that, like, or even like my favorite is a Dodge Viper, so that's a supercar. If we start talking supercars and stuff, and she want to get a Barracuda, and she, you know, and she want to get a cherry red Barracuda and have the red lipstick and all that stuff, and just getting to talk and laugh about stuff like that, that is amazing. That is amazing to see people, that one speck of light that just blows up into this big thing, to where I've had people walk away from those segments, those dream segments, excuse me, into the interviews, that literally their face, like, they can't stop smiling because they're thinking about possibilities. And when you think about possibilities, you think about things like, you know, what can I do? What, but it's even bigger than that. Not just what you can do, is what can't you do? And like I said earlier, kids have that mindset where it's like, what can't I do? And a lot of adults out here don't have that mindset anymore. It's because they've been told by so many people that you're not good enough, you're not fast enough, you're not strong enough, you're not smart enough, you don't know this, or you're not good at that, or you're not. Who's to say? Who's to say what you're good at and what you're not? What you're naturally good at, your gifting, you know, that might be different to something else. See, being good at something doesn't make it your passion. Being good at something doesn't make it your purpose. Being good at something doesn't make it your calling. It just means that you're good at it. So when people tell you that you're not good at speaking, so how dare you be a speaker? You know, you're not good at acting, you're not good at improv, so how dare you be an actor? That stuff is learned. You can learn to do things. You can learn to perfect things, but there's something inherent in every single person on this planet, that they are able to do better than everyone else. Why? Because God put it in us. God implanted in you something that you are better at than everyone else. And it's because, and let me break this down for you guys. God put something inside of you, planted it deep in there, and then set you loose into this world to have you go through things, to have you meet people, to have you live through situations, live through circumstances, good and bad, to shape. It's like a gardener. It's like a gardener and a seed. They put the seed in the ground and then they cover it. They cover around the seed, they pat it down, and then they water it. See, the water is, things that happen to you, things that happen good, things that happen bad, things that, that make you smile, things that make you cry, things that move you emotionally, things that, get you excited. That's the water that gets poured into the soil, and the nutrients and everything that God has that comes into your life that affects you positively is the nutrients that gets absorbed into that. And, it fosters the growth. But you have to understand that it takes time. One of the moments that changed my life was when my father, one night, and I told the story before in other lives, but for those of you who haven't heard this, the moment that fundamentally changed me, well, one of them anyway, from my father. We were sitting in my car, and actually, we were sitting in his car in front of my house, and we were just talking. I was really at a dark place in my life because I was like, I don't know. I've tried so many things. I've been in and around business for a long time, and things like that. And I tried this and tried that, and this didn't work, that didn't work, this kind of worked, this kind of worked, but nothing really jumped off, and I really couldn't get behind good momentum, and I was just about to lose it. And my dad simply said to me, son, find something that comes easy for you. Find something that comes natural to you. And when he said easy, he doesn't necessarily mean that you could do it with, do it being lazy. No, he means do something. He meant do something that comes natural to you. Something that you could do with very little effort, but you enjoy doing. And whatever that is, do that. Because I guarantee you there's someone out there that's willing to pay you money to do that thing. So whatever that is, I don't know how long it's going to take you to find it, but find it. Pray about it. Seek God's face about it. And find it. Once you find it, latch on to it and keep going until you get to where you need to be. Handle your life. That's what he said to me. And from that time, I've been on that search to find what that is. And thank God, I found what that is. The purpose is freedom. The purpose is helping people like you and me find freedom. Hence the concept of Freedom Fridays. But what you have to do is exactly that. It might take a little extra time. It might take a little extra prayer. It might take a little extra work. It might take a little extra, from you to go out there and to see what it is. Do some research. When I was spending time doing this and doing that, there wasn't a whole lot of internet. I grew up before, before all this internet stuff. I was like, what? I think I was like 15 when I was 15 when they came out. Who had that compact Presario that it was like 15 inches, a 15-inch screen, but they had that big old booty at the back, and it took forever to lift that thing from the floor to your desk. And that AOL internet speed, oh my gosh, dial-up. Listen, I started in school in the age of dial-up, man. Who remembers that? Like, you're sitting there, like, people get mad at that little circle that sits there now, and it's going, and forever and a day it's going, and you can't even wait for that circle to stop going round and round. But imagine sitting there and you had dee 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 ear. Who remembers that song? Who remembers that? That back in the day, man, that thing was so annoying. And you're sitting there for like legit 5 to 7 minutes. Legitimately, like, that's not even an over exaggeration. I remember times being at my aunt's house and you're trying to get online because you're trying to find out who's on, and you're trying to talk and stuff like that. And you're just like, what? I want to see what's going on. And like 7 minutes, like you're just like this. You're sitting back, your arms folded and stuff like that. Like, when is this thing gonna go on? I grew up in that era. So now, now you search for things lightning fast. Come on, man. You can get on Google if you're into speaking, if you're into, you're into baking, you're into cooking, I remember Steve Harvey talked about, if you could fry chicken. Like, I always remember that. Like, he talked about, if you could fry chicken, that's what you should be doing with your life. Look at how many people fry chicken. Popeyes, KFC, Church's Chicken. People that live in small towns, y'all know that they have mom and pop stores and they fry the best chicken on the planet, but because it's not a household name, that don't mean they're not successful. That's the whole thing. People, let me tell you something. People don't remember that McDonald's started in San Bernardino, California, by two brothers that they just wanted to give people the best service, and they wanted to give them a really great experience, and they were successful. In those days, they were very successful. If you remember, a book by John Maxwell called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, one of my favorite books. It talks about that. It talks about the story about the McDonald's brothers, and basically it chronicles their start in San Bernardino, and what their vision was and stuff like that. And they end up creating one of the management styles for restaurants that people still use today. Like, that system became what is now known as Hamburger University, and there's millions of people that have copied that system now, and they use that. It's revolutionized the fast food industry, but it started with them. It started with a dream, but they just didn't have the leadership lid to see, in the vision to see what their baby could become. Because one of the cool stories in that book was the fact that, and it's kind of either one way or the other, because when they were approached by Ray Kroc to say, okay, this guy wanted to start a franchise, and of course they had a couple franchises out there, but one of the things that they didn't want to do is, when the concept of having that franchisee put the name McDonald's up there, they said, for what? Why would I have somebody else put my business name on their building? Why would you do that? But today, how many McDonald's are there around the world? And it was because of Ray Kroc's vision to have a McDonald's on every corner, which it is today. Is why it is what it is. It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation that started from a dream, a simple dream, and it's something simple as in, where do I see myself? That's where it has to start, man. Actually, I'll do you one better. You pray and you ask God, what do you see for me? What is your plan for me? And if you ask him, he'll tell you. You just have to be patient. The thing about this is that you could start from that point and get to where do I see myself? Where do I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? What does my life look like? Literally and actually, what does my life look like? I don't care what your circumstances are right now. It doesn't matter what your circumstance is right now, right in this moment, right in this second. Because here's the thing. The Bible also says, such as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you spend the time thinking about what your current circumstances is all the time, guess where you're going? Nowhere. Right into those circumstances. You're going to stay there. But if you think, I think I think that I can get here. I think that I can do this. I think I can go here. I think I can get this. I can do this. Then guess what? Guess where you're going? That's why things like elevating your company, with stuff that I covered in a lot of my other videos, elevating your company, you are the 5 people that you associate yourself with. Take a look at around. I want you to pick up your phone. Pick up your phone and look through. Pick up your phone and look through your contacts. Look through your favorites. I don't know if they have favorites now, but my phone does. Back when it reminds me back when T-Mobile had favorite 5, I think it was. Put it in the comments if you remember the correct name of that. But um pick your 5 favorite people, the people that you talk to every day or every other day or every other day. People you talk to on a regular basis. Who are those people? And more importantly, where are their lives going? Because it doesn't necessarily matter where they are. Yes, it does a little bit, but more importantly, are they driven? Are they goal oriented? Are they about something? If they're not, and if you listen, one way to gauge is if you are the smartest person in your group of friends, you need some different friends. Not to say that you don't love your current friends, not to say you don't care about them, but you need to start adding some people that are smarter than you are. You need to add some people that contribute to you and make you better. That's how you gauge. If the people that surround you are not lifting you up, are not elevating you, are not they're not producing that feeling inside of you that I gotta do something better with my life, that you need to get a new circle. You need to. What I'd tell you guys a personal story. It's a part of my personal story. When I was younger, and it's not necessarily easy for me to share this, but and when I was younger, my parents had a decision to make. Because of how I was born and things like that, and how I walked and my disability and things like that, they were recommended to put me in a different school, put me in what Americans have the term now for is special ed, for kids with disabilities that, and I remember going to the school, and one day it was real hot back in Trinidad, and that day, and I went there with my parents and stuff like that, and I saw all these kids. And I saw all these kids in wheelchairs. I saw them with walkers. I saw them with crutches. I saw them with all different manner of things because they had all manner of disabilities. And this is just me being honest. Don't get me wrong. My heart goes out to the disabled. I love everybody. I want the best for everybody. This is not to downplay or downtrodden anybody who's disabled, because I am too, But I just remember thinking, man, life is not that bad for me. Life is really not that bad for me. So I wonder why I'm here. And we sat there and we waited, my mom, my dad, or whatever it is, like we waited to get seen and everything like that. And they were more than willing. They're like, hey, he can come in, and we'll teach him, we'll go over his words, we'll go over his shapes, we'll go over his colors and all those things, all the different things, because I was really young. I think I was like maybe 5 or something like that, or 4 or something. I think I was like 4. So they were like, yeah, he can come in and he'll definitely learn a lot. We'll take care of him and, make sure he learns everything that he needs to learn, things like that. And then I remember this moment that my mom and dad sat there, and well, my mom was actually there, and my dad, she had to tell him about it later on. But I remember this moment, and I looked up at my mom, and she looked back at me, and she had this look in her eye like, I don't think so. I don't think so. But even you can see the moment in her eye, you can see the emotion in her face. But because I used to have doctors look at me, like 6 doctors, no lie, 6 doctors look at me, specialists, every single month or whatever it was, come to look at me to make sure my progress and things like that. And it was amazing, like just to see how much effort was put into helping disabled kids, especially in the 80s. That's crazy, you know what I'm saying? But that moment when she made up in her mind, you know what, my son can do better. I want better for my son. Not that he's better than anyone else, but I want him to have a better life. And I remember she told me later on in life when her and my dad had to talk about it, and decide whether they wanted me to go to that school. And he was like, no, no way, no way. My son is not going to go to that school or that kind of school. My son is not going to. Why? Because he also wanted better for me. He knew that putting me into this school would severely hamper my growth and development. He knew that if he decided to agree with me going to that school, that I would be no better than the best kid in there. I would be no better than the best, the most improved, the most whatever. As far as they could come, I would only be as good as the best student at that school. And he wanted more. So he said, you know what? I'm gonna make a hard decision. We are gonna make this hard decision and put our son in public school. And listen, as the person that had to go through that, it was hard. It sucked because I wouldn't say all of it sucked, but there were so many moments that sucked because I was teased, I was bullied, I was made to feel like nothing. Like people wouldn't even want me touching them. And not to say you wanna go around touching people and making it all awkward and creepy and so like, people didn't even want to brush up against me. You know what I'm saying? Just accidentally. And what does that do to a person? What does it do to a child's mindset when they gotta go through that? So yeah, it was hard. And it goes way beyond not being picked at basketball, not being picked because or being last to be picked. It's, I went through situations playing sports where I wish I was the last person to be picked. I was the person that did nobody want. Like, not to say the last person they would choose, but if they see that it's down to me, they'll be like, okay, we're just not gonna play no more. Like the whole game will be done. We just won't play anymore. Cause if he has to play, then we're just not gonna play anymore. Cause it's just what it is. And people were literally that mean. And yeah, it sucked. But it made me a better person. It made me stronger. It made me faster because I remember thinking in the back of my mind that I had to be stronger. I had to be faster because I wanted to show them that I could be just as good, if not better, than some of them. And I listen. There were certain limitations that I knew that I had, but I'm gonna give it 110% of everything that I got, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna leave it all out there. And I remember later on, I think I was like maybe 11. I was in a race, and you know how many people told me? It's like, Nick, it's too hot out there. Don't go out there. We know you want to run. We know you want to feel a part. You know you have something to prove. You want to show everybody, but you don't have to do this. You don't have to. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And I went out there. I lined up with everybody else, and I took off. I started running. I started running. I started running. I started running. And I'm running. I'm running. I'm like, yeah, I'm making good pace. I'm making good pace. People are still next to me and things like that. I'm still making good pace. halfway through the first lap of a 2-lap race, and people started pulling away from me, pulling away from me, pulling away. And I'm running as hard as I can, And the harder I run, it seemed like the harder I ran, the more space it created between me and the rest of the crowd. Even the slowest person, other than myself. It seemed like it would just be a bigger and bigger space. And I'm running and I'm running and I'm running and I'm running. So I'm about 3 or 4 paces behind everybody else. And then everybody finishes the first lap, including me. Everybody finishes the first half of the second lap. And I'm coming. And while people are crossing the finish line, here or here, and I'm still way back here. So, and I'm running as hard as I can. I'm sweating. It's pouring off of me. And I'm running as hard as I can. I said, I'm not going to give up. And I keep running as hard as I can. And something strange happened. Running, and this time everybody was finished. And I still have halfway around the track to go. And something strange happened. People started to get up in their seats in the stands. And the second to last person, they crossed the finish line and things like that, and they were just standing there. They were dog tired and things like that. And I'm running, and people started standing up in the stands. And the last person turned back that was standing in the crowd that was running. They turned back, and they looked at me, and then they turned towards me. And then one by one, the runners that were ahead of me, they had stopped. They were at the finish line. They turned towards me. And then they were just, looking like, man, he's not giving up. And I'm running. And everybody that was running before, they were facing me now. And then more and more people in the stand started getting up. And because more people started getting up, the announcer that was announcing for the sports day and stuff like that, he started noticing a whole lot of people getting up. And then people started cheering. And little by little it started getting louder and louder and louder. And then the guy on the mic, he got on, he was like, we got one runner left. And he's giving it everything. Let's give it up. And everybody started cheering. And I'm going to try not to choke up right now, but people were cheering. They were like, go, 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 go. People were cheering. People were on their feet, losing their natural mind. And we're talking about island people here, so we know how to celebrate. And people were just losing their mind, man. And the people that were in front of me, the runners and things like that, they were they were jumping up and down, they were clapping, they were everything. They were clapping and they were cheering real loud and they were jumping and everything like that. They were like, go, go. And I'm running, and like my thighs are burning, my calves are burning, everything's on fire, everything hurts, and I'm running, and I'm like, God, please give me strength. I just want to finish. I just want to finish this race. And by the time I crossed that finish line, there was not a person sitting. There's not a person sitting, and there was not one person in that whole stadium not screaming their head off because they were so glad to see not only did I finish the race, but I didn't give up. And that's what you guys have to remember. If you're under the sound of my voice right now, I want you to take the visual of that moment. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. it doesn't feel good. Everything's going wrong. Everything or things don't seem like they're coming together. They're not seeming like they're gonna happen. They're not seeming like it's working. Things like that. You feel downtrodden. You feel tired. You feel, just worn out. You feel like you're done, and you just can't find the strength. But you just gotta dig deep, and pray to God to give you the strength to see that dream, see that goal. You have to see before you can believe. You have to. It's imperative that you do, that you see your end goal before you achieve it. Because the whole way that my thighs were burning, my calves were burning, my knees were hurting, running and things like that, because I couldn't stand for longer than 20 minutes, and I'm running a 2-lap race. A 2-lap race is the equivalent of almost a mile. And I tell you, man, you have to see it. And I just kept visualizing the win. And to see those people saying, come on, you can do it. You just have a little bit more to go. You just have a little bit more to go. You just keep going, just keep pushing. You can make it. I'm telling you that right now. You watching, you listening, I'm telling you, whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, whatever your purpose is, find it and go after it with everything inside of you, and hold on to God and trust Him, and give and believe that He will give you the strength to persevere. Believe that He will give you the strength to make it through. Believe that He can give you what you need to accomplish what your goal that you set is. Because if he had the idea to start that work in you, He will bring you through to the end, to the finish. Because He said He will always be with you until even the end of the earth. So He will always be there to guide you. He will always be there. But you got to ask. You got to get to that place where you even see that it can be done. I'm telling you, you can make it. I'm telling you, you can become something greater, because there is greatness in you. There is greatness. There is that one thing in you that is unique, that is different from every other being on this planet. And God put it in you because He wanted you not to keep it for yourself, but to give it to the world, to your world. So go out there and be the best that He wants you to be. Not just that you can be, but to be the best that He created you to be. So with that, guys, I want to thank you for joining me for another episode today. I want to thank you for everyone that stopped through to say hi. I want to thank you for all the hearts. I want to thank you for all the love. You guys, you don't know how much the support means to me. And every one of you who comment, every one of you who liked, it does more to help reach more people, because I believe messages like this, messages of hope, are what makes this world a better place. So I pray today that God has used something that I said to give you strength, something that I said to bless you, something that I said to make a difference in you believing before you see your dreams being achieved, because you can and you will. So for those of you who want more information, you want more content, or you just want someone to talk to, you can always message me on Facebook. You can message me on Anchor as well. If you have not already follow me on Facebook, you can go to my Facebook profile and you can follow me. Click follow me and then click see first so you never miss another live. And you can go to my website up here. This first link up here. You can click on that link. It is live. It is hot. You can click on that link and go to my website. There's more content on there, more motivation on there, and you can also get to see more of my videos and things, my YouTube videos and things like that. Make sure you leave a like and you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you're watching on YouTube, the information will be down below in the description. So make sure you go ahead and click down there and get to the links and stuff like that. Also, I will have like on Facebook the link to my merch store is up there as well. Millionare Inside Apparel is up there, so you can click on that and you can message me on Facebook or on YouTube or on Anchor if you want to order merchandise. If you're on Anchor, go to my website. The website will be in the description of this episode, and you will be able to go click on that so you can go to my website to be able to see what's on there. And there's also some new stuff. For those of you who follow me on Facebook, there's some exclusive stuff that's going to be there on Facebook. So make sure you follow me on there. And last but not least, for those of you who are listening on Anchor, I got some special treats for you. So make sure that you go and you subscribe to the Anchor podcast of Freedom Fridays, so you can catch those exclusive pieces of content that I have on there for you guys, along with the audios from today's show. So if you're like those of you who are on Facebook, if you did miss the show, you can catch the video on YouTube, and you'll also be able to catch the podcast later on today on Anchor. So, and for those of you who are interested in starting your own podcast, you can go on Anchor.fm and start your own podcast. It's 100% free, and your podcast, once you start it and publish your first episode, it will be distributed to other podcast platforms like iTunes, like Spotify, and a couple other podcasts that are not as well known as or household name status as iTunes or Spotify or SoundCloud, but they distribute your podcast to most major podcast platforms. So visit Anchor.fm if you want to start your own podcast and get that going. So with that said, guys, again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you guys for watching. I love to love you, and I pray that God expands your borders and that He gives you, the peace that passes all understanding, and that He continues to increase your life and continues to bless you and to keep you. So I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next week. Make sure you're staying tuned because we got some great stuff coming up on Freedom Fridays. Okay, guys? So until next time, live life, love God. See you when I see you. Peace.